Hey guys, welcome to our safety briefing specifically for the hot glue gun. I have a few things here to show you. This is our hot glue gun that we'll be using. It's an AdTech Basic Mini high temp glue gun. This is the glue that goes in the glue guns. This is what it looks like. And this is a cutting mat. It's made to protect our table or working surface. So let's first take a look at our hot glue gun. So we've got a couple of things we need to pay attention to. This is our on and off button here. When you plug it in, it's on, and I want you to assume it's on, okay? When you unplug it, it is off, but it may still be warm or it may still be hot. So you have to be mindful about that. So the gun itself, you've got a handle that you hold it by. This is a trigger mechanism. This is your nozzle, and this is the body of the hot glue gun. And at the back of it, you'll see a hole back there. And this is where you insert the hot glue stick and feed it into there. And it will go in. And once it's warm, when you pull the trigger mechanism, you can see it move, and it forces the hot glue gun through the heating mechanism and out the nozzle. Okay. So there's a couple of things that I'll leave that in there. There's a couple of things I want you to be aware of. Now, this nozzle, if you notice, it's kind of the only metal part besides these screws here. It is the only metal part on the gun itself. Therefore, it is the hottest part of the gun. This glue gun gets up to 182 degrees Fahrenheit. 182 degrees Fahrenheit is enough to cause third-degree burns if you come into contact with this for 3 to 7 seconds. So you have to keep all your digits and skin and bits and things away from the nozzle. Okay, that's the part that's going to burn you. It is safe to hold it by the handle or by the grip. This piece that kicks out is a stand. Ta-da! So you can stand it up. Now, the reason you have a mat, or sometimes I like to use Post-it notes or a piece of paper. If I don't have access to a mat, I'll put a piece of paper down there to catch any hot glue that happens to drip out of the nozzle. Because the hot glue that comes out of the nozzle is also going to be 182 degrees, and it can also burn you. So you have to be mindful of the nozzle, and you have to be mindful of the glue. Now, sometimes the hot glue sticks don't want to go, and when you squeeze the trigger, it doesn't seem like it wants to work. If you have a problem, bring the hot glue gun to me, and I will help you solve the problem. I would rather be the one that gets burned than you, okay? When we are working with the hot glue guns, we try to keep them up on the stands if we can. If they just refuse to stand, we can lean them on the side, okay? Now, you have all this cordage here so that everybody can reach, but being able to do that means that there's a chance that you might bump into your neighbor to the left or to the right, and you have to be mindful of your neighbors when you're using a hot glue gun, okay? And so this one has not been plugged up today, so it's cold. I'm not gonna feel anything from it. Now, when you plug it up, it takes about 5 minutes, a good 5 minutes, for it to get to a working temperature. So if you want to check if your hot glue gun is ready, what you can do is kind of hover your hand over the top of it, kind of like you're casting a spell, okay? You don't want to touch the nozzle because you're going to get burned, but this is where the heating mechanism is, and you will feel the warmth coming off of that once it's ready. Or you might see the hot glue gun dripping from the nozzle once it's ready. Now, I have one plugged up that we can actually take a look at. So we're going to move our cold one to the side. And let's see. Now, this one is plugged up. I have fed it a hot glue stick, I can feel the heat coming off of the top of it right here, and it is warm. So in order to get you a bead of hot glue, again, you're going to squeeze, and there you will see the mechanism feed the glue through the end. Okay. Now you see that you've got some drips and kind of this spider web. Sometimes you can wipe off the end. That's another good reason for having a cutting mat or a sticky note or scrap piece of paper there, because you can squeeze and rub the excess off of there, and it keeps it from stringing out everywhere. Now, should you get hot glue, say you're working and you accidentally drip it on your skin, what should you do? The thing to do is you're going to get up, you're going to walk over to our sink, and you're going to run cold water over your hand or your arm or your elbow, whatever the case may be, and you're going to run water over that, and we're going to let the glue cool down, okay? Once the glue cools down, then we should be able to pop it off. If it drips on the table, the same thing. Don't touch it immediately. Let it cool down, and we can pop it off once it's cooled down, okay? If you drip it on your clothes, again, the same thing. Let the hot glue cool down, let it dry and harden, and then you should be able just to peel it off like a sticker, okay? If you try to touch this when it's hot and it's on your clothes, you're going to squish the hot glue down into those woven fibers of your clothing, and it's going to be almost impossible to get out at that point. So let it harden, let it cool as long as it's not burning you, and then you can pull it off. If again, you get it on your skin, go immediately to the sink, run it under cool water so we can stop that burning process, okay? Now, let me show you what to do. You can see that this is starting to kind of, it's got some drips. Once you put a hot glue stick in there and you start, it will start doing that drippy thing. So you can wipe it off so it doesn't do any more drips. But let me show you what to do when we are finished with using our hot glue gun. And this one, yep, see, you can peel it, it pops right off. Once it's cooled down, it goes back to its original form like it was in the glue stick, okay? So when we are finished with our hot glue guns, we have all this cord hanging everywhere. If we put them and stored them that way, it would be a mess. So what you're going to do, again, carefully, is you're going to turn the hot glue gun upside down, and you make a loop with the cord. And then you wrap the cord around the grip of the hot glue gun. And then you take your plug, your on-off switch, and then run it through that loop, and your hot glue gun will then be ready to be stored and tucked away. And that is our safety briefing.